Boxing King Media in association with Boxstore. Spencer Oliver, we're out here at the Walkden ABC. You see you training some kids. You still got the passion to be a trainer?
Listen, mate, no, it's I enjoy that. I enjoy going back to the grassroots. That's what we're doing here. You know, Boxer has teamed up with Maverick Stars Trust. Maverick Stars are looking to do stuff like this, you know, grassroots stuff, you know, us getting involved, working with the kids up and down the country, you know, and trying to inspire kids to come into boxing, you know, getting them off the streets and all that. So very, very invested in this sort of stuff.
Good stuff, mate. It is good to see Anthony Carollo's going nuts behind us. So let's talk about a big fight week. We've got Lawrence Okolie about to make his debut. He looks really lean. It looks probably leaner than I've ever seen him.
Yeah, listen, Lawrence is a massive, massive cruiserweight. How do I describe Lawrence Okolie? Like, as a cruiserweight, he's going to be a tough one to beat because of his size. And he's like the Tyson Fury of the cruiserweights, if I'm honest. He has like long arms, long reach, good power, very awkward. Yeah, so exciting times, man. I'm looking forward to following Lawrence's journey, you know, because there's some massive fights out there. You know, like Richard Riakporhe, Chris Billam-Smith. Who else have we got? Lawrence Okolie.
Saying he wants to go to heavyweight.
Listen, he will go to heavyweight, but what I'm saying is there's some massive fights there as a cruiserweight as well. Like some good all British fights. So that's where he shows, but he will go to heavyweight, definitely. He's a big guy.
Yeah, the interesting thing is there was some videos flying about of his opponent, David Light, the other week on Twitter, where he didn't look great on the pads, whether it was just a video that he put out just for the sake of it, I don't know, but people were kind of taking a piss. I don't know if you come across that video.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, he's very straight backed. He hits hard, but he is quite, you know, he comes forward in straight lines. From what we've seen, and what I've seen of him boxing as well, he comes forward in straight lines, goes out in straight lines, but he is 20-0, he's got 12 KOs, so he's going to come with ambition. And when you come with ambition, it means he's going to be sort of quite aggressive. That's not a good way to be with Lawrence Okolie, because if Okolie hits you, you stay hit. So I think stylistically, it's a great opponent for Lawrence Okolie to go out there and get a spectacular win.
There's been a bit of talk about the ticket sales for this event. Do you know what the situation is? Are we expecting a big crowd Saturday?
I really don't know, if I'm totally honest. I don't know what the ticket sales are. I've not been involved in that side of it at all. I've not even spoke to anyone about that side of it, if I'm honest. Been so much going on, so I've literally just got up here today, and I haven't had a chance to speak to any of the guys about how ticket sales are going. But listen, they'll go well, man. Lawrence is a good fighter. They've got a great card on Saturday night.
Fraser Clark's got Bogdan Dino, who fought Daniel Dubois before. How much of a challenge do you think Dino is for, Fraser?
I think that his original opponent, Rydell Booker, would have been a better opponent, would have been a tougher opponent, come with more credentials. But look, you know, opponents pull out, he got sick, he's had to drop out, and then, yeah, in comes this new opponent. So, listen, I think that he's going to go out there and do a job on him, if I'm totally honest. I think it's there, and yeah, I think that Fraser will do a job on him.
Interesting stuff. Spencer, can't let you go without asking you about yesterday. You had a prime seat. I saw some of your footage that you put up on Instagram. You were sat there watching Eddie Hearn and Simon Jordan go for it. Obviously, we saw what was on live, but you got to see some of the stuff behind the scenes. So share some stuff with us. There must be some juicy stuff off camera.
Absolutely. Shit was kicking off camera. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people asked me that, actually. Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth going on off camera as well. They could have kept it rolling, if I'm honest. It's a shame they had to have the ad breaks, because yeah, it got very heated. It was good, man. It was interesting. You know, both guys made their points, and I think it was a good little battle. To be fair, it was good.
Did it get personal? You know, what kind of jibes were there? Just share some stuff with us.
It got personal, man. Listen, go back and look at the footage. You can go onto the Talk Sports Boxing YouTube channel, and the whole thing is on there. Yeah, it got personal at times. You know, with Eddie talking about Crystal Palace and, you know, situations like that, and you know, it got very personal. Go back and watch it, man. You'll see for yourself.
What did you make of it? Because the general consensus, what I've seen online, is that we didn't learn nothing new. Simon asked similar sort of questions other people have asked, but he asked them in more of an aggressive manner. But the answers were the same, and people feel like Eddie might have edged a split decision.
Well, yeah, I don't think he did, mate, because basically it was like Simon saying to Eddie, mate, this is the situation. Why is Conor Benn boxing everywhere but where he is now? Why don't you just try and get if you've got the evidence that you've got, why don't you just get his British licence back? And Eddie was saying, oh, well, Conor's a little bit upset at the moment, and Ray go, yeah, no, but, you know, and Eddie said he wanted him to get his career back on track in England, which is important, and if he's got that 270-page document that proves he's innocent, get it done, mate, because that's what all this is all about. The whole thing is all about this, because Conor's not producing that evidence. And if you don't produce that evidence, everyone's going to judge you. Like we're all judging him because he's failed the 2 tests. And then all of a sudden, Conor gets angry with everyone about, he's angry with everyone because of the way that he's getting treated over this situation. You go, but mate, if you've got we want you to be innocent. So if you can prove your innocence, provide the documentation. Why are you holding it back? And they're talking about legals going on and whatnot. So it is what it is, man. You know, it gets boring after a while because it's no good being angry and aggressive with everyone because everyone's judging you on being a drug cheat because you failed 2 tests. But if you've not provided the evidence to prove your innocence, what are people going to do? They're going to judge you. So it's quite simple. And I think that the argument there was, and I think what a lot of people missed was that Simon was saying to Eddie, why is he not providing the evidence? If he's got the evidence, why is he not providing it? And Eddie's saying, well, you know, the WBC said, yeah, but the WBC, like, fuck the WBC because that doesn't really count. The WBC really installing him back into their rankings by looking at the documents and going, well, okay, yeah, we'll put him back in the rankings. But you know, they're just a sanctioning body, not a governing body. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So. Yeah.
What I gathered from Eddie was I think he felt that the guys at TalkSport and the British Boxing Board, Rob Smith, were kind of getting together to kind of play a certain agenda because that's what I think he seemed to try and say.
Say that again, sorry?
I think Eddie tried to basically imply that the guys at TalkSport and Rob Smith were kind of getting together to kind of put their agenda across because that's what he seemed to try to say.
There's no agenda. There's no agenda at all. He's going to give us the answers. The answers are, we've got 2 failed tests. There was no agenda at all, and that's what Simon's trying to put across. He's going, look, no one's got this beef against Conor Benn. Conor Benn thinks that the Boxing Board of Control have got an agenda against him. Why would they? For what reason? Going back to talking about his father and all that, you go, mate, this is like 25, 30 years ago. It's nothing to do with that. No, why would everyone love Conor Benn? He was like the nation's boxing sweetheart. Like, why would everyone all of a sudden have an agenda against him? You know what I mean? We all wanted Conor Benn to go on and win world titles and whatnot. Like, this is nobody else's fault but theirs, but his, because it's in his system. So he has to prove that. Like, you know, whether it's contamination of a lab or whatever he's trying to say it is, we need to hear what it is, mate. Because as it stands, you failed 2 tests, and that's where it's like sort of that's where it ends really. Is that you can't really say no more on it.
And just the last question I want to ask you about is the Tyson Fury situation. No one seems to know any better. As of now, 6 o'clock, a bit ago, it seemed like it's completely off. I know you guys have had Frank Warren and Alex Krasik on the phone. I don't know how you pulled that off, but what do you think? What do you make of it all?
It's hanging on by a shoestring, mate. That's all I can tell you. I spoke to Frank Warren and I know it's hanging on by a shoestring. It's not dead and buried in the water right now, but I know there's certain things in the contracts now. Like, we're 1 point away, mate. There's one tiny little problem in the contract is why this fight's not getting over the line, and that's not for me to talk about that problem. I know exactly what it is, and if they can iron that out, we've got a fight. But right now...
What about this injury? Because Frank mentioned that he is saying there's rumours going around that Tyson might have been injured, but he's saying he's not.
No, he's not injured. No. It's just to do with... it's to do with... stuff is in the contracts, you know, stuff that they were nearly there, they nearly agreed terms, and there's little issues that have not been agreed. And I think that Krasik and U16 team, Krasik and Ingus, I think that they just thought, right, enough's enough. You know, we've had the 70, we give them the 70-30 split. Now we're talking about rematch clauses, this and that, and I don't think they were happy with certain things in the contract. So. Look, that's for Frank to sort out. I don't know the ins and outs of it all, but I know it's not dead and buried in the water yet, and we're still hopeful that we may get it over the line. But I know the U16 mentioned that the fight is off, but I think that's just frustration from their side. Perhaps they're trying to not budge on the situation that is going on, whatever that situation is. But look, I don't think it's a huge problem, so let's hope we can get it over the line. It'll be a shame if we don't.
Does it get made? Does it get made?
I hope it does. I hope it does. You know, because we were so close again for this undisputed, and I think the people are going to get completely pissed off if we don't get this over the line. You know, like, you know, there'll be a backlash from it for sure, because we were so nearly done. I know that Frank had hotels booked. He's got the venue booked. Negotiations were well deep into the completion date, or into the completion of negotiations, should I say. We were nearly there, mate, so let's see what happens. Yeah, we're still hopeful.
Thanks, Oliver. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers.